Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's me again, the Masked Man, woot woot. And we're going to be doing an updated top 10. I was considering putting this on hold, but I've been reading Kingdom and getting caught up on that. I plan on catching up on One Piece and all that stuff. And I read a few more top tier mangas that definitely changed the entire landscape of the list. Like, this list is going to be pretty different, especially from 5 to 10. That's going to be very different. But as usual, like I tend to say, this is all like me. If you don't like it, you don't like it, whatever. No need to get offended by it. But before we do get into that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications. Also, make sure you subscribe to the guy who made my intro and outro music. I'll be putting the link to his channel down in the description below. He also makes some really cool other beats based off of like anime samples or, you know, just original beats as well. Okay, so last time 5 through 7 was the difficulty. This time 6 through 10 was close to living hell to try and get this time. Especially because I threw Magi in there last time to get it some recognition and respect. But now at number 10, I have Hunter x Hunter. I know, this was at 6, now it's at 10. But yeah, like I said in my last video about Hunter x Hunter, I think it's great. But the more I examine it, I think the better it works off actually as an anime. As a manga, it's solid, the story's good. Recently, some of the exposition has been getting a little bit tedious, and I've always been very, very critical on Hunter x Hunter's artwork. If Hunter x Hunter had better artwork as a visual representation story that is a manga, I would probably give it a few more points. But Hunter x Hunter's phenomenal, one of the best shonens out there. Definitely deserving of a top 10 or top 5 spot. And it's definitely, again, one of the greatest shonens of all time. And at my number 9 spot, I have One Piece. Now, you might be wondering as to how One Piece went from 5th to 9th this time. Well, Pun Pun, 20th Century Boys, and Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, as well as me catching up a little more on Kingdom. I'm not entirely fully caught up on One Piece, but from what I've heard of Wano, and I'm pretty sure even if I catch up on Wano, it's not gonna throw One Piece into my top 3. And just like Hunter x Hunter, it is extremely deserving of the title Best Shonen of all time. I think One Piece, once it's completely finished and all said and done, will most likely be higher on this list. But yes, at number 9, I have One Piece. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like 2 minutes in, and I'm pretty sure I like pissed off 2 fan bases, so that might be a world record. We need to check that. Now at number 8, I have Kingdom. I was thinking of putting Kingdom on hold because I'm near the end of the Coalition arc, but it has just been so good. So good. Even when I wasn't in the Coalition arc, I thought Kingdom was phenomenal. And now in the Coalition arc, I don't care what anyone says. I'm usually gonna have Kingdom above One Piece, no matter where they are on the list, unless One Piece does some crazy stuff in its upcoming arcs, which it probably will. Kingdom has just been a sick story. I think it does a lot of the things One Piece does. It just intrigues me a little more in Kingdom as a manga. Man, Kingdom does not get enough respect. I will say that right now. So yes, number 8, Kingdom. Now, at number 7, I have Attack on Titan. And originally, I had Hunter x Hunter and One Piece both above Attack on Titan, but after kind of rereading some things in AOT and with some of the new chapters that has come out, upon further analysis of the series, it didn't feel right. It didn't sit well with me. I was like, One Piece above Attack on Titan. Well, I know most people are gonna like be upset at me for this, but I just couldn't do it. But yeah, Attack on Titan is just an extremely well done and thought out story. Eren as a protagonist is one of the best written, period. But yes, Attack on Titan is top tier for sure. If you haven't read up and caught up on the manga, you don't have to because season 4 is coming out and all of that. But yes, Attack on Titan definitely deserves its respect. Now at number 6, I was not expecting to have this in my top 10. I got into the series with a big distaste and hatred for it. But at number 6, I have Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. Jojo's is... It's really good. Like, it is really, really good. And I haven't even read part 8 yet, and I've heard part 8 is one of the better parts, if not just right below part 7, because I know it's wrapping up and all of that stuff, so I want to wait for it to be fully finished before I read it. I don't know, if you guys want to see, like, my individual review on part 8 so far and what I think of that, then I guess I'll do it. But when I looked at JoJo's and I read parts 1 through 6, I was like, wow, this is really solid. Very close to being in my top 10, if not already in my top 10, especially because of parts 4, 5, and 6 was solid as well, although that one's a little bit iffy, not gonna lie. But then part 7 hit. Part 7 is so good. Like, part 7 on its own was worthy enough of making this top 10. Now add the other 6 parts of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I knew this was going to be either at number 5 or just outside of my top 5 spot, but JoJo's really is, well, a bizarre adventure. It's something that I would definitely suggest watching maybe the anime for the earlier parts, because I saw parts 1 and 2 through the anime. The rest I read through the manga. But JoJo's doesn't get enough credit for the themes that are tackled within each part, and in context, how ahead of its time it truly was. I think JoJo's just gets a bad rap for all of the memes that comes out about it, so a lot of the, I don't want to say casuals, but people who aren't that, I'd say, well-versed in anime or manga or don't spend much time with it are going to look JoJo's and instantly associate it with only the memes. Now we do get into the top 5. And I'm also I'm not going to lie, I'm a lot more proud of this top 5 than I was of the last top 5. But getting straight to it, at number 5, I have Vinland Saga. I was a moron for having Vinland Saga below Hunter x Hunter and One Piece. Although, maybe not entirely. I think it was recency bias, because I was just currently reading One Piece at the time, and I was also like, I just don't want to hear it from the One Piece fans. Now I don't really care. I have Vinland Saga above One Piece. I understand the recent stuff might not be the most intriguing and all of that, but in its overall context, Vinland Saga as a manga is an absolute masterpiece and work of art. Askeladd as a character, Thorfinn as a character, they both just mirror so well, especially early on. Thorfinn's development is like rivaled with very, very, very few characters. And just the overall plot and dynamic of the story is one that's done super well. So this time around, I do have Vinland Saga at my number 5 spot. Now, at number 4, I have a tie. And I know, Mass, that's technically cheating. Here's the thing. It's made by the same author, so I guess that kind of gives it a little bit of a pass. And I also kind of forgot about one of these when writing my list literally on my hand with a Sharpie. So, yeah, it's either it's tied or Hunter x Hunter gets knocked off the list. But at number 4, I have a tie between Monster and 20th Century Boys. Oh boy. Alright, 20th Century Boys and Monster both boast some of the greatest antagonists, if not arguably top, both of them I'd say are top 5 worthy antagonists in all of manga. Friend and Johan are just sick. The overall story and plot within each manga is phenomenal. The twists, the turns, all of the individual characters. The protagonist also extremely solid with Dr. Tenma and Kenji. And this one was a little bit tough because I would definitely say I think Monster is a little bit better as a story, but I definitely had a much bigger enjoyability and just overall better understanding reading 20th Century. Even though they are extremely comparable by being made by the same author, I think each one, although having very similar strengths, do it in different ways and different styles in the way that they actually present the story and the plot twists within the story. So thank you to all of those that suggested 20th Century Boys. It's definitely been one of my favorite reads, one that I don't think I'll ever forget. I also read the 16 chapter extension 21st Century Boys, which kind of cleans up the ending a little bit. But yes, 20th Century Boys. Now we move on to number 3. If I remember correctly, on my last list, Monster was at my number 3. But after reading this manga, despite me never, ever, ever, and I mean ever in my life, unless I'm paid a lot, I never want to pick this manga up again. But it was so good, and I don't think any other manga has impacted me like this one. Not even Berserk. I think this one may have hit me a little harder than Berserk did. And that says a lot. A whole lot. And I'm talking about Goodnight Pun Pun. This is one of the mangas that I would argue in terms of an overall written story and its ability to use symbolism and the art stuff. Like, Pun Pun in art it's in that league with Vagabond and Berserk and Vinland Saga. Like, it is up there. But Pun Pun, and you could, I guess, check out the video I did on it recently, but Pun Pun is one of those things that, since I don't know every single individual person out there, there's some people that could read this and leave better and learn better, and I think every person will if they go through the whole thing. But it's I don't think I've cried so much reading something, and it takes you to places in your past, and it doesn't give you good feelings after reading it. It really doesn't. It's extremely depressing, extremely dark, but its quality is just so undeniable. I think I'm done talking about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore, but it's really good. It's just, yeah. Now, at my number 2, I have Vagabond still. It was actually very, very close. Pun Pun was very, very close to beating Vagabond for that number 2 spot. And, I don't know. I just gave the edge to Vagabond. Although Pun Pun, I don't know. I don't really think anybody's going to be that upset about it. They're both, like, S-tier stories. I think everything that I have in my top 5, or I think everything I have in my top 10, are stuff people would throw in S-tier. Unless they just really dislike One Piece. But Vagabond is, in art style and philosophy, I think it's pretty much second to none. Not much do it better. Musashi Miyamoto is a great protagonist. The story is well done, each chapter is thrilling. It's really a nice read because although it does have a high sense of realism, honestly, Vagabond is one of those things that when I read it, I think I automatically just became a more mature person after the first like 12 chapters. It's like Pun Pun in Berserk in that I think after reading it, you become a better person if you take the stuff that's presented within those mangas the right way, and you become a little more mature and I think just understanding and aware of certain things. I think you can tell, man, but just even talking about Pun Pun just killed my whole mood. My goodness. But at number 1, I still have Berserk. Yeah, I don't know what to say at this point. I know it might get annoying because it's like, oh, you talk about Berserk all the time. Well, this is kind of mainly a Berserk channel, if you will. And I think the only reason I really even like it that much is because I'm always in shock and awe about the great quality of Berserk. I did a video kind of addressing this bad idea that Berserk has gotten worse over time, but I said that's completely wrong considering Berserk has just had a change in tone, and Berserk tends to be at its best when it's not just blood, gore, darkness, and violence. I think seeing where Guts is now as a character versus he was before, and just all the stuff that's happening now in its context, I think is major and will lead up to something amazing. The only complaint about Berserk is hiatus, but when I compare Berserk's hiatus and Hunter x Hunter's, I really give Berserk a pass because for one, it comes out with more chapters frequently than something like Hunter x Hunter, as well as Berserk's artwork is like up there with very, very few other manga, and Berserk just really seems to have it all as a story. Again, Guts arguably one of the, if not the best protagonist, Griffith one of the, if not the best antagonist. The plot is well done, the story is well constructed, the development as well as just the overall writing of the side characters is also done well with the exception of maybe Isidro. The world building within Berserk is also top tier, although not better than One Piece, of course, because, you know, One Piece does world building better than everything else. But just as an overall story and as an overall work of art, I don't think anything just tops it for me other than Berserk. Again, a lot of the stuff that I listed in this top 10, but especially I think the top 5, are stuff that if anybody has it in their number 1 spot, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't disagree. But yeah, this is just my top 10. I was gonna save it for like the end of the month when I read a few more other things, but the other things that I had on my list was stuff that I knew wasn't really gonna make the top 10. A few that I was expecting to make the top 10, but I don't know, maybe in a month or 2 from now I'll make another update. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, all the good stuff. And as always, this has been the Masked Man. Hope everyone has a blessed rest of the day, and peace.